8th Annual Skateboarding Hall of Fame presented by House of Bands. If you want to take your seats, that would be really cool too. There's so many great people, I'm psyched to be up here. Okay, I'm going to kick it off really quick anyway. I want to bring Steve Van Doren up here to start up the first icon award. Let's give it up for Steve. Without Steve, I don't know if any of us would be here.
Thank you very much, Steve. This must be a Steve night here. I know you can't see anything. Anyway, I'm honored to have been asked to introduce our first icon of 2017, and that's Sonja Catalano. Right on. 35 years running Castle. She gave me a few tips here. One thing, Sonja is a mother of 5 children, 4 grandchildren, and my daughter told me to say, and a mother to most of us here. Thank you, Sonja. Castle was a brainchild of Frank Hawks and her good friend Jeannie Hoffman from Pipeline. They asked her to be the secretary and treasurer. 35 years she's still running, taking care of amateur skaters. I asked her, how many skaters do you normally have in a session? How many sessions do you have a year? So she says, normally 150, but the largest entry ever was 1986. 762 skaters, Oceanside Shell. Russ was the MC, and he's being inducted today too. In the mid-80s, she said it was the craziest. She was running both amateur and the professional, doing both of them. Castle kids that she's had the pleasure of bringing up when they were 5 years old, like Ryan Sheckler, Austin Seaholm, Curran Caples, and currently Louis Lopez, Asher Bradshaw. But there's hundreds of others that are older in here that know who came through Castle. I have to tell you one story about the Vans Warped Tour, which we started 22 years ago. Sonja in 1997 started. I wanted to have a skate competition in 50 locations in the US. So that's how we joined. And we tied in with skate and music. And we recruited Sonja to do a skate contest in street and in vert. And a lot of the guys that are here today, like Cab, Neil Hendricks, Mike Frazier, many others and stuff were on the vert. Skaters came up. We did 50 locations in the US, 9 in Europe, and 11 in Australia and New Zealand every year. Sonja did that for 15 years, living on a bus, putting up with all of us, all the skaters, running the contest, moving day to day. She's my hero, and I'd like to introduce Sonja Catalano to everybody.
See anything up here. Thank you, Steve. He said more than any of us. Let's give a hand for Steve Van Doren.
I knew I'd find you around here somewhere. What's up, man?
I know we have a really long evening, and so I don't have a really long speech. I just want to say thank you. And most of you know in November I had a heart attack. The Castle, I'm alive, and I have a great Castle staff, and they're here tonight, so it's in good hands. Jerry from the Garage Board Shop in East LA, and from our education program, which we're really proud of, Skate to Educate. We're working with underprivileged kids. Some of it's financial, some of it's emotional, but we've brought through Jerry's program many from not going to school at all to being straight A students. And that's really important, and you're going to hear more about Skate to Educate in the future. But I want to thank my staff for carrying on this year, and they're all set. If they could just stand up, I just want everybody in the industry to see who they are. These are the people. I'm still doing all the office stuff, but these are the people out judging the contest. Daryl's doing a great job in seeing the contest. In Large Media's, our media company, they're doing a great job. So Castle, I don't know if it's going to go on forever, but it's going on for now. And I just want to thank you very much.
Sonja, can you do us a favor, because I think we've heard this before, but can you say clear the course?
Clear the course.
Icon, inductee. All right, to keep things moving, I want to bring up Bob Knight from NHS. Bob, can you make your way up here? This is our second Icon Award. There's a lot of good people out here. I see Donnie Branker, who did a bunch of contests back in the mid-70s. Give it up to Donnie. Bob Bain is out here, one of the first Bain skateboard companies. Gregg is here representing NHS. Giving it up for Jim Phillips. Bob Knight, give it up for this guy, he's a good guy.
Wow, you really can't see anything. Anyway, many of you probably remember the first moment that you got turned on to skateboarding. Mine was a pretty classic older brother situation. He had a car and I was the skateboarder, and we drove around Northern California, pools, ditches, reservoirs. We started a skateboard company in 1977. We called it D-Skates. We made skateboards in my parents' garage. Little did I know, thank you, little did I know 40 years later I'd run one of the largest skateboard companies in the world. And we got inducted into this Hall of Fame in 2013, something that I was very, very proud of. But for many people in this room, maybe around the world, their gateway into skateboarding was the artwork that was on the skateboards. And many of them were influenced by tonight's Icon Award recipient, Jim Phillips. Whether it was his logo work, the deck graphics, advertisements, t-shirts, decals, comic books, he used to do these small little pieces of art that show up in catalogs, products from our childhood. They're really important to us. Some of you may not be familiar with Jim's work. There's a website called the Top 50 Skate Logos of All Time. Jim drew 5 of the top 50. 3 of those are in the top 10. Independent Trucks is #1, followed by the Screaming Hand, Santa Cruz Dot, OJ Wheels, and Slime Balls. NHS just finished a 2-year traveling art show. It went to 12 international cities. We hit 14 cities in the United States, and it celebrated Jim Phillips. It also celebrated the 30th anniversary of the Screaming Hand. By the time it got done, 200,000 people had attended this art show around the world, and we had 250 pieces of artwork that reinterpreted his Screaming Hand. The attendance of this art show, as well as the participation, shows Jim's impact on a global level. We asked a lot of these artists to tell us about their first inspiration when they saw Jim's art. Many of them answered the same way. First thing it influenced them to be is skateboarders. And then many of them turned into graphic artists and illustrators as they dug deeper into Jim's work. I've asked a couple of them to give me some quotes about Jim. John Lucero says that Jim Phillips' Road Rider logo was one of my favorite things in skateboarding. It symbolized freedom in the open road, that anything is possible. Then it was the indie logo that was so balanced and menacing and dynamic. Jim really helped skateboarding on its own path. Skateboarding no longer was the son of surfing, it was just skateboarding. Nadas Kapis said, I got to work with Jim Phillips throughout the 80s. He drew a lot of my Santa Monica airline deck graphics. When The Coffee Table, the book, Surf, Skate, and Rock Art of Jim Phillips came out, I got to see the entire scope of his work for decades, and I was blown away. Sean Cliver says, the graphics that were consistently stymied me were the works of Jim. The Grosso toy box was one I could never quite wrap my head around, and I quite honestly can't to this day. Finally, Eric Dressen, one of the recipients tonight. Eric says, I saw the Road Rider logo, then the OJ logo, and then of course the Independent logo, and I didn't know who the artist was behind these. In 2003, I saw a bunch of Jim Phillips' original black and white inkings from his long career. I was blown away by his talent, the detail, and I realized then and now that how strong an impact and longevity that he's had in the skateboard business. So I do a lot of interviews. It always comes up about Jim, and the way I explain it, artwork has two eras. There was the era before Jim Phillips, and there's the era that after Jim came onto the scene. So ladies and gentlemen, tonight, 2000 Skateboarding Hall of Fame Icon Award winner, Mr. Jim Phillips.
So when I got started back in the 1950s, we didn't call them skateboards, we call them bunboards. You had to make your own. Go out in your garage and get an old piece of 2x4 and your sister's old roller skates and nail them right on there. It was the true free ride. Everything after that cost money. I was a lot better than Eric Dressen. Of course, he wasn't even born yet. 20 years later, skateboards got a lot better. I started doing graphics for Santa Cruz, and I brought home two of their first skateboards, a 31-inch for myself and a 28 for Jimbo. He was around 8 years old then. And we did a lot of father and son skateboarding around town, and there weren't any no skateboarding signs then. I'm very honored to be selected to receive the Icon Award here at the Skateboarding Hall of Fame tonight. They say for something to become an icon, you sort of have to get sick of seeing it first. I guess if you get old enough, they get sick of seeing you. But I don't think there's any higher honor that could be bestowed on me other than the fine friends and fans that I've been fortunate to make over the years. And I'd like to thank all of them. I'd like to thank Bob DeKnight, my lifelong friend Rich Novak, and the family of friends I have at NHS. A special thanks to my wife Dolly, who's been a huge support to my art career and for her work for Santa Cruz at Phillips Studios, where she played a very important role. By the way, we're celebrating our 50th wedding anniversary this year. Thank you. Thanks to all of you for attending and for the Skateboarding Hall of Fame and Museum to bestow such an honor. I'm truly humbled. Thank you.
Give it up for Jim Phillips.
I accept this award from Jim Phillips. Thank you.
KT, come on up here. In the back row? Oh, you're down the front row. Watch the paparazzi. Give it up for Kevin Thrasher, the editor and publisher of Thrasher when it first started back in '81. Come on, big hand, yeah!
Mom, Dad, Bud, Sis, boys and girls, skaters and skate fans, thank you on behalf of Thrasher. I thank you for this honor. Steve and Vans and Todd and Thomas at the Hall of Fame. I want to thank you very much. This is a real good thing. One thing before we begin here, and I got a little writing to read, some history to go over. Be sure this weekend to thank all those moms out there. Happy Mom's Day, especially skater moms, toughest job in the world. Okay? And by the way, that's my nephew Josh down here somewhere. He was born the day we started the magazine, so if you want to know how old it is, just ask him. January 13th, 1981. Anyway, I threw together a couple notes about the history of skateboarding, so I'll get into it. Some of this is pre-Thrasher, in honor of Todd Huber's Skate Museum, which is a really cool deal, and the setup that they did here is really just an excellent, good show. I think my favorite story about the history of skateboarding and the origin of the skateboard itself is that one where somebody's great-grandma was bombing the hill on the apple crate scooter. Remember those? The apple crate looked kind of like this podium right here, with the panel bar, apple crate on the 2x4. Grandma's bombing the hill, heading on down the hill, swerves out, hits a tree, apple crate flies off, breaks off. Grandma picks up the 2x4 with the metal wheels and just continues on down the hill. And the skateboard is born. That was in about 1920, okay? Believe it or not, it was there. But anyway, for the last 100 years, nobody has really improved on the basic stunt wood, you know? And anyway, a couple high points. A lot of people in this room started skating on metal wheels, moved on to clay wheels. I think an icon in this whole deal should probably be considered that finally in the early 70s, a few surf rats tried the urethane wheels on their woodshop made boards and realized a profound and radical transition. Skaters, did I just use air quotes? Oh shit. Anyway, skater now meant skateboarders. There's ice skating and there's roller skaters, but skaters now just means, you know when the sign says no skateboarding, then everything after is listed after that, cracks me up. It's a true outlaw deal. And we love that. Keep it that way. Anyway, skaters began discovering all kinds of new possibilities with urethane wheels and sought out new terrain. Empty pools, ditches, spillways, pipes, every street, every curb, every driveway. The only limits were in the mind and fear itself. And this, just about the time Tony Alva was offering up his Ted Nugent autographed Logan Earthski for closer inspection, that thing called punk rock was rearing its ugly head. And by the way, that's a compliment, Tony. We were following you guys' every move back then. That was a reference to a photo by Craig Stesic, also a classic. A classic. When skaters met punk rock, it was probably the beginning of the modern era of skate culture. And skate culture has definitely had an influence on everything across the board. Fashion, food, everything. In May, towards the end of the 70s, even as skate companies and corporate interests tried to sell it to the masses and pay-to-play commercial skate parks were popping up across the land everywhere. True skaters went back underground while the rest kept rollerblading at the disco. The energy was laying low, but it was definitely out there. Skaters were back in the abandoned motel pools, the back alleys, and their own backyard ramps. And of course, trespassing and skating now fenced off closed parks for free. In 1980, and this no mention of Thrasher can be had without mentioning two guys, partners of mine for a long time, and cohorts and friends, Fausto Vitello and Eric Swenson. I don't really need to go into it, but they re-engineered skateboarding and came to me and our crew up in Northern California with an idea to start a skate mag in 1980. Dwayne Peters said, call it Thrasher. I don't remember any other names ever even being considered. I scratched out a logo. We didn't even have a photo on the first cover, just some crazy artwork I had done from the files. Buy skaters, for skaters, and all about skating was our cry. Grab that board. There's new cement and asphalt being poured every day. Slam the rules, skate and destroy. Bomb the hill. Fuck shit up. Had to drop one. Get it. The first couple of years we put the mag together with scissors, tape, and glue. A true zine. It was influenced by some of the punk rock fanzines that were around back in the day. There were no computers, no cell phones, no Starbucks even. It was all X-Acto knives and wax and galleys of type and pasting up and getting dirty, and it was cool. Mofo slept in Ed Riggins came in to drive the bus called Chaos at that time. Mofo slept in the dark room. We used to send him on the Greyhound bus from SF all the way to Del Mar to cover contests. Nobody had any money. Bryce Knights came on to do production work, take photos, and drive a truck 200 miles round trip. After he was done with all that, we'd send him with a truck to go pick up the magazines at the country printer we were using. And just, that's the way it went. It was just hand to mouth, and it was, I'll tell you, yeah, like I said, nobody had any money, but we were having a blast. We tried to cover it all. Even freestyle, downhill, and slalom racing made it into the mag in those days, and if nothing was happening, we went out and invented something, or we'd go find it. The first street style in Golden Gate Park was a primitive example. And you can yell out the winners of these contests, I can't remember. I think Tommy G won the very first street style in Golden Gate Park. Jam at John Grigley's. First jam, one of the first jam sessions. Midwest Melee in Lincoln, Nebraska. Who, what? Christian, Cab, I know you were there. Roscop, they were all there. Bringing it to the heartland, corn-fed. Great Desert Ramp Battle, Keith Stevenson's ramp in Palmdale, sick. Tony Hawk, wasn't, yeah, what? Savannah Slamma, arena style, what were we doing? I do have to apologize for some of those street ramps we built back in the day, boy, they were ugly. The Battle on the Bay in SF, which later somehow turned into some extreme, I don't know, extreme something, whatever. But we were the first, that was with Frank Hawk. Sonja, she was right there. Sonja was right there during all of it. Those are just a few of those that come to mind. Many of these events usually end up in some sort of sticker toss riot, straight up fist fight, even a dead cat flying through the air at the Mile High Terror in Tahoe. And then the cat flew back, a return of the dead cat. Skaters will be skaters. Many classic moments and firsts appeared in the pages of Thrasher. McGill's McTwist, Gon's clearing the gap at EMB, Jake waving the Phelper, waving a fistful of cash as Markovich launched and landed into the gauntlet of mobbing skaters at Wallenberg. Just opened up a whole new era in the 90s, I'll tell you. Skate Park San Francisco was going off every day back then. Since Jake took over the editorship of the mag, it's been one continuous hell ride. Thanks a lot, Jake. You fucking asshole. No, I love that man. He is doing it. I'm telling you, just look at this shit. Okay? And Burnett, Michael Burnett has got to be one of the hardest working men in skating right now, I'll tell you. He does it all. Give it up. This award is shared with all the skaters out there and the readers and subscribers to Thrasher magazine, for without you, it wouldn't have been possible. Also, the contributors to Thrasher over the years, you know who you are. To name names would include everybody in this room. If you want to know what's going on in skateboarding today, just pick up the latest issue of Thrasher. Skate the website, follow the king of the road. The essence of skateboarding is the doing of it. It's an endless adventure, and the age of discovery for skateboarders rolls on. One of my favorite and longest running departments in the mag is still photo graffiti. Readers sending in their shots of just their crazy antics going on, ramps, street, madness. That's the true spirit of what's happening in skateboarding. And one last thing, ask the doctor, Blackie, where's Blackheart? Where is Blackheart tonight? One last thing. I'll tell you, as everybody gets excited about going to the Olympics and being on TV and wasting time with social media bullshit, be careful what you wish for. The more rules and regulations and restrictions and schedules and judges and sponsors and guidelines you adhere to, the less time there is for raw fun and friends and adventure and just fucking skating. Skateboarding has definitely left a mark on this world and a lot of scabs. Keep it outlaw. Skating is a crime. Thanks a lot, you guys.
I don't know if I deserve it, but I'll take it. I want to thank Frank Nasworthy. I met him skating to my sister's house in Encinitas back in 1974. He was yelling, "Hey kid, do you know Donald Gonder?" He was supposed to meet me here for shoot ads for Frank. Thanks, Donald, for not showing up. You'd probably be the Cadillac kid here tonight. Appreciate that, Donald. Frank offered me some wheels and a ride to the La Costa Hills to shoot ads for his new revolutionary urethane wheels. I was like, hell yes. Thank you, Frank, for designing these wheels so I didn't body surf asphalt anymore every time I hit a pebble. Frank was also a philanthropist. He employed me and my underage buddies in an unventilated garage in Cardiff, behind the Jack in the Box, scooping 8-ball bearings into truck assemblies. I think it was 5 cents a unit. We didn't get rich, but we lost a lot of weight that summer. Can you say Martha Stewart, Frank? Warren Bolster, what can you say about Warren? He had an insane work ethic and artistic ethic. He and I became very good friends and travel buddies, probably because nobody wanted to ride in a 72 Pinto, which is filled with Kodak film and fast food wrappers. You never went hungry with Bolster. This was all when Surfer Publications unleashed him to start the reissue of Skateboarder magazine. Warren ran with it and truly reinvented the sport we now know. May rest in peace, Warren. And I'd like to thank John O'Malley for building our first playgrounds out of concrete, letting me skate for free. I had a tight allowance back then. And sorry, I'm reading this. For all of you who know Eddie Alguera, support his efforts in his annual El Gato Classic. It's seriously one of the funnest weekends every year. We enjoy it. And my Hobie team, always a cool team vibe. God bless Mike Weed, Skitch Hitchcock, rest in peace. My good San Diego bros, Rodney, Jesse, and Scotty Williams, rest in peace. Steve McCandless, the kindest boss I've ever had. Next to my brother, of course. My family, who have always been there for me. My sons, Michael and Gordon, love you both very much, wherever you are. Especially my lovely wife, Denise, who puts up with most of my antics. Yeah. My mother and best friend, God rest her soul. My brother and sister have always been there for me. Bought me my first $30 surfboard, which was cool. And my hero, my father, William Weaver. Yeah. He flew in the Korean War at F-84, almost went down. Flew the F-104 man in a missile where he was chief test pilot for Lockheed Aircraft. He holds the record for having to eject from the SR-71 Blackbird at 80,000 feet, Mach 3, 2,200 miles per hour. That's some big air. Thanks for living long enough to spawn us, Dad. You're a stud. All the skaters I've had the pleasure to skate and travel with in their company. Too many to mention, I'm on a time limit here. And my friends who I've had the pleasure to spend my life with, many are here tonight. Thank you guys. And my family, thank you all. Appreciate this. And really cherish it.
I just want to let you know I own him on ping pong. Anyway, let's Give it up for the Cadillac Kid. Okay, I want to bring up the next two cats that are going to be inducting our next guy for the late 70s. I want to bring up Glenn Friedman. We're going to time Glenn on his acceptance speech. It's not an acceptance speech, but whatever. Well, let's give it up for these two classic.
I want to say aloha. And I too have to read this. Anyways, in the early 70s, I started the Zephyr competition skateboard team. I did it for the kids. I did it for the kids who needed direction. And I did it for the kids from broken homes. For the kids who needed to stay out of trouble. I did it for the good of the neighborhood. Shogo Kubo was one of those kids. The first time I saw Shogo, he was in the water like his team brothers Jay Adams and Tony Alva. His natural ability shined bright. Then on the skateboard, it was the same. He was a natural. I saw potential and an incredible style. I knew he was going to be a shredder. As time went on, Shogo became known as the stylish skater. Eventually becoming known not only locally, but worldwide. It was inspiring to see how he grew into the world of championship skating. His style was emulated and recognized internationally. This street kid who I took under my wing, the street kid who probably related to me in a way that others couldn't, due to our shared Asian heritage. Helping to guide Shogo through the difficult era of prejudice that existed gave us a particular kinship. I was very proud of the skater he became, of the man he would become, and I'm more than proud to be able to be here tonight to help induct Shogo Kubo into the International Skateboarding Hall of Fame. And I want to thank everybody here. I want to thank Steve Van Doren, and I want to thank Todd for putting this event on.
Okay, everybody, here's a few more words. After seeing his friend Jay skateboarding outside of their judo classes, one day, Shogo started skateboarding too. Yeah, imagine that. Jay Adams and Shogo Kubo as kids in judo school, together. Before he even spoke good English, Shogo had met Jeff Ho, Jay, and the rest of the original Zephyr crew, and became a member of the original competition team when they formed in Santa Monica during the mid-70s. Even with all of that Z-Boy talent around him, his skills were undeniable and recognizable. Shogo Kubo was one of the most stylish, one of the most photogenic, and what many don't realize, he had the longest successfully competitive career of all the original Z-Boys. Shogo's style inspired countless skaters of his own generation and beyond. I'll mention one now. Of course, the most obvious spawn of this incredible style and quiet aggression was the one and only Christian Hosoi. As Christian was growing up and learning how to ride on the west side of Los Angeles, Shogo was the one person Christian aspired to be the most, for obvious reasons. Christian was a little grom, still afraid to ride the vertical pools. Could you imagine that? Christian was afraid to ride vertical. He'd just ride the little brown bowls. He tore the shit out of them, but he was scared. At Marina Del Rey Skate Park, when he started taking cues, but that's the time when he started taking cues from the legend Shogo Kubo. And of course, the rest became skateboard history.
Shogo was a master of style. At his professional skateboarding peak in 1979, Shogo moved east to New Jersey, becoming the local pro at the famed and acclaimed skate park Cherry Hill for almost a year, before returning back home to Dogtown, performing in contests like no other from his era. But not long thereafter, probably thanks to the politics and the business shenanigans that so many of us in this room know exist behind the scenes, Shogo became disillusioned with the scene, moved to Hawaii, surfed a lot more, held a normal job, got married, and had 2 children. Decades later, Hollywood movies were made. Shogo had bits and pieces, but you wouldn't really know much about him from watching these films, unless, of course, you knew Shogo already. Because if you did know Shogo, when you heard his wry sense of humor and wit come through in the documentary, it made you think and remember, that's Shogo, that's the badass I know and remember. In the original documentary, he has one of my favorite lines in the whole movie. I'm going to read it to you. People were just looking at us. Wow, what is this? What are these guys doing? What's with these Zephyr guys? This isn't skateboarding. While me and my friend Jay were just like, what are you guys talking about? This is skateboarding. What the hell are you guys doing with that corny bullshit? Love you, Shogo. Miss you, Shogo. Happy to help induct you into the Skateboarding Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, here to accept the award for our late friend and legend Shogo Kubo is his son, Shota.
I'm Shogo, and I'm going to talk about a couple things about my pops. I didn't know my dad was a full-blown skater until the Dogtown documentary. And man, that was a trip. He had long hair, a headband, almost looked like a different person. I would have never thought to see him on the movie screen. I started skating when I was 14. My friends were already skating, and that's when my dad gave me a skateboard. But he was already bummed out that I was goofy-footed. Later on, my dad found love for surfing and the ocean again. He surfed almost every fucking day, like every fucking day. He loved skating too, but yeah, he surfed a lot. He loved surfing. I have to thank my pops for showing me the way to enjoy my life. My dad and I love skating, and I will keep continuing to skate, continue to do so. Thank you, Hall of Fame and all the skaters. I will humbly accept my dad's award and bring it to my family and to keep the tradition alive. And last but not least, I have Christian to say a few words. So please come down, Christian.
It's an honor to stand here. Wow. I guess I don't need this microphone. But it's an honor to stand here and for Shota to ask me to come up here because Shogo Kubo was my mentor. I definitely was in a special place. Marina Del Rey Skate Park, Jay Adams, Shogo Kubo, Tony Alva, and Shogo Kubo, Jay Adams, rest in peace. Let's give it up for them. They're not here with us. But he was really a mentor, not only to me, but everyone at the skate park. And we all have to give it up to those guys because they are the true pioneers. Nothing against all skateboarding. I love skateboarding, freestyle, all that kind of stuff, downhill, slalom. But vertical skateboarding. They are the pioneers of vertical skateboarding, and that's the reason why I got into it, why there is vertical skateboarding today. They paved the way for all of us, and Shogo Kubo was was probably the most stylish skateboarder of all time. I think Tony Alva would probably attest to that maybe a little bit. But if there was a battle, it would be a good battle. And I just wanted to be just like them. And for Shogo's son to be an amazing, sick skateboarder, even though he's goofy-footed, I'm kind of bummed about that too. Because I consider him my son. You know, Shogo was like my brother. And I'm just proud to just come up here and stand up here and say I love you your dad, and I'm just thankful to be a part of his life. And now I can be a part of your life. And let's give it up for Shogo Kubo! Yes, Shogo!
So some of the Z-Boys and some other surfer skaters put together an impromptu skateboarding contest. I'd never skated before in my life, and that wasn't about to stop me. I ran up, jumped on the board, and that board shot right out from underneath me, and I fell flat on my ass. Everybody laughed, but no one harder than me. Thank you. And someone actually, okay, no one harder than me and fell on my ass, yay. Anyway, someone shouted out, "Girls can't skate," and that comment hit like an arrow in my heart. And from that moment on, I was determined to prove that girls could skate, and not just skate, but totally rock it out. But what started out as a challenge turned quickly into love, and it was a spiritual thing, and I took to it kind of like breathing, and I never looked back. The history of skateboarding is like a huge puzzle made up of all these cool, really unique pieces, and being honored like this makes me ask, why? Why me? What's significant about my piece? Well, I was a vert skater, and I skated aggressively like the guys. I was a self-proclaimed chick with a dick. And I lost my place again! But a chick who was equally proud of her feminine side and never shied away from celebrating it, and I was a fierce advocate for equal pay for equal skate, along with fabulous women such as Ellen O'Neill, Laura Thornhill, Robin Logan, Ellen Berryman, Edie Robertson, Terry Lawrence, Cindy Whitehead, Kim, Cespedes, and the late, great Brenda Devine. They helped carve out a space for females, women, girls in skateboarding, and through it all, I was someone, as Jim Goodrich said in Skateboarder magazine, who rode for the stoke of it all. Go skateboarding. Go Texas! I'm just about to come to that. This is really heavy. Thanks to all my Texas skate crews, Houston, Galveston, Port Arthur, Dallas, and thanks to Dee and her family for bringing me to Port Arthur. I'd like to thank also Lori Rary and her family and Papa Two from Southgate, California, who took me in, kept me stoked and alive. To my sponsors, Pepsi and John Barron, who brought me out here. We traveled a lot with Pepsi, and it was like a party wherever we went. And we may or may not have caused a slight bit of mayhem along the way. John was also the one that hooked me up with Hobie. To Hobie Alter and Steve McCandless and the Hobie team for embracing me, thank you so much for making me feel like I was on top of the world, both then and now. I can't tell you how honored I am to be going into the hall representing Hobie. To D. David Moran and Kryptonic team, David, you were so hysterical and funny, and it made us easy to go out and do our thing. Tom Sims and the Sims team, the team was just a well-oiled machine. We went so many places, and I have so many great memories of that, of being in the desert and riding those enormous full pipes. To BSC Trucks, I dug that ad so much, thank you very much. To Dennis Ogden, my home park, Marina Del Rey, where I had some of the best times, skated with the most awesome, amazing skaters there ever was. There was never a dull moment. Dennis, I want you to know, I think you're absolutely awesome. To the Skateboarding Hall of Fame and to Todd Huber and Laura Thornhill, thank you so much for helping me get my act together for this. My sister and my biggest fan, Leah, thank you for getting this whole ball rolling with all of your hard work and determination. You're beautiful inside and out, you're fierce as hell, and a total boss. My brother Scott, thank you for putting up with me all these years and supporting me from afar. My mom, happy Mother's Day, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. My mom always believed in me and helped me push me farther than I could ever think that I could possibly go. To my dad, I love you. I know for a fact you're here in spirit. To my husband, John, you are such a blessing, and thank you so much for your amazing support and love of God and us, and for providing us with this wonderful life. I just absolutely love you. Yeah. To my daughter, Hunter, and son, Remington, I love you both so much, and I'm so blown away by what amazing, talented artists you've both become. To my family and friends at the table, and everybody here, cheers. This is so flippin' awesome. And I want to thank Bruce Leckenser for helping me collect my thoughts so I wouldn't be standing here in these bright lights doing this. Jim Goodrich, my long life friend and travel companion. You're an awesome interviewer and photographer, and your shot of me in the reflecting mirror is without a doubt one of my favorite all time. Glenn Myota, thank you. Oh, there you are. Thank you for your friendship and your kindness and your beautiful photography, especially what you just presented me with as well. And you do always know I got your six. I got your six. Thank you, Jim Casimus, who I accidentally kicked out of my table. I'm so sorry, I didn't know it was you. I absolutely love the radical photos that you took of me for Skateboarder magazine. Jeff Ruiz, thank you for the terrific Skateboard Mania shots. Skateboard Mania was such a big deal at the time. Nothing like that had ever been done in skateboarding. We lived on the Queen Mary for 3 months. We did all types of crazy, cool things, like climbing in and out of the portals, having water balloon fights. I think we got kicked off the ship, I'm probably pretty sure. It was so fun, and thanks, Jeff, for being such a ripper yourself. Glenn F. Friedman. Your Instagram tribute was amazing. The things that you said about those times were so true. And to come back now and give me those props is like coming full circle. It's almost like getting 2 awards. It has brought so much peace to my heart. Thank you. And I was so touched by the comments to Glenn's post where someone said that the shot that he took reminded them of Jay Adams and his style of skating. To be compared to Jay in any way is such a complete and total honor. And I cannot mention Jay without also giving shout outs to my other skate brothers, Jimmy Plumer, Billy Huron, Jim Knorr, David and Paul Hackett, Dennis Agnew, Paul Hoffman, George Olson, Nathan Pratt, Nathan. My wheel fell off. How am I ever gonna ride? I guess I'll have to do a wheelie. Stacy Peralta and again Shogo. Thanks again to Brian Logan, Eddie Alvera, Shreddy Reapers, Brad Bowman, Christian Hosoi, yes, Shreddy, Dwayne Peters, Dennis Martinez, you and your family. You're my heart and soul, and we skaters, we always stick together. And a very heartfelt thank you to every skater in the room, every skater I've ever come across. Each and every one of you has left a crucial and distinct imprint on my life that I will always carry with me. You all know who you are. I love skateboarding. It's a love that flows through my veins the same way it flows through your veins. And it's a shared love, and this is why I consider you all my family. Skateboarding is in my blood, and through that passion, it is filtered into the blood of my kids and my husband. And I will always live the skateboarding lifestyle because not only can this girl skate, she does skate, and I will continue to skate to my dying breath. Thank you, I love you all.
A longtime friend, Michael McGill. So I wrote some little notes here, trying to keep it short. I know it's been a long night. We got a contest tomorrow. Me skating against that dude. Anyways, I don't know if you know this, but Mike was born in 1964 in Brooklyn, New York. The youngest of three, John and Terry, and then Mike. 1975, at age 10, he moved to Florida, and then he started his skateboarding career. It wasn't until around 1978 I picked up an issue of Skateboarder and I looked into the centerfold, and there was this guy doing this trick that I didn't even know how he got into that position. It was Mike McGill, and it was a layback air at Marina Del Rey. And little did I know that we would be teammates in 1979 when Stacy Peralta both sponsored myself and Mike McGill, and that's when our friendship first started. He also introduced me to tracker trucks, and so in 1979, so all you guys who were bummed that I wasn't riding indies, you can thank Mike McGill for that. In 1980, we both turned pro, and it took about a year for us to get a pro model because Stacy wanted both of us to stay amateur for a whole year. You know, back then, you know, he wanted people to know who Mike and I were, and so, you know, we just kept entering contests, and we were both competing and getting photos and meeting all these photographers at all these skate parks. And it wasn't until 1981 when Mike McGill released his first pro model, and that was the Plane Fighter, you guys all, for Pal Peralta. Great board. Then 1981, we both traveled. Did a lot of traveling with Mike to the United Kingdom and Scotland for our first time, which was pretty amazing. In that same year, we got invited to do a Swedish summer camp in Rättvik, called Summer Camp, where both Mike and I were teachers there, and it was the starting of skateboard summer camps, so it was really cool to experience that and be the first to be a part of the whole expanding and learning that other countries, not only in the US, were super excited about skateboarding. 1982, Mike gets invited to be in a movie in Spain called Escape from El Diablo. It was a little B movie, and while he was there, one of the producers asked him if he knew a little short Mexican guy that could skateboard. Guess who got the part? One phone call later, the next day I'm traveling to Spain all by myself to meet Mike. We stayed there for a whole month. We tried to learn how to surf. We think we worked for like 2 weeks out of the whole month. It was a vacation, paid vacation. 1983, Stacy Peralta starts making videos. Bones Brigade Video Show, Future Primitive, and then of course, Animal Chin. So in between skating contests and making videos, Mike McGill decides to go back to Sweden. Goes back with Lance Mountain and Roddy Mullen. And what does he do? He throws a whole wrench in our skateboard competition program and invents the McTwist. I'll say this again. He invented the McTwist. Which is probably one of the most difficult tricks you will ever do or try if you're a skateboarder. One of the gnarliest. So I have to give it up to my longtime friend for introducing that to skateboarding, because he changed the sport in many ways. He also contributed a lot to our industry by starting his own skateboard shop in 1987 called Mike McGill's Skateboard Shop. which is, I think, celebrating its 30-year anniversary this year. So, gotta give that up to Mike. But from the success of Animal Chin and Mike's great acting skills, we also got invited to be in Police Academy 4 and also Gleaming the Cube, which ended up having Mike join the SAG, which is the Screen Actors Guild. And back in the early 80s, he stunt doubled for Josh Brolin, Christian Slater, and until recently, Mark Wahlberg and Bruce Willis. He did really good at Bruce Willis because you can tell he's getting bald. Sorry, Mike. That's what happens when we get old. 1988, McGill opens a skateboard park. And what does he call it? Mike McGill Skate Park. Which bred a lot of amazing skateboarders from North County. So we gotta give it up to Mike, once again, for helping produce a lot of awesome skateboarders that still today are amazing skateboarders and have contributed many things to our sport industry. But then in 1991, things go sour at Pau Peralta and we start to part ways. And Mike creates a company called Chapter 7, which eventually went bankrupt. I don't know, maybe it was the name, I don't know. But not only Mike being an incredible skateboarder, he was also a fierce competitor, and still is. I love skating with Mike. He pushes me to no end. Things you don't know about Mike. Mike loves trees and plants. And when I first moved to Carlsbad, came over to my house and started naming everything that was in my backyard. I had no idea. Oh, that's a nice palm tree. That's a palm tree, whatever. A nice tree. And so it's really cool. I guess your family had a nursery back home in Florida, so he learned a lot about plants. He also loves to fish. And he has a boat. He takes a lot of skaters out in the ocean, and I've been living in North County for 2.5 years, and I have not got invited to go fishing yet. Mike. We also love to ride mountain bikes together. We also ride motocross. Mike is amazing at riding. He's an amazing husband to Julie. Right, Julie? He's a great father of 3 beautiful kids. He's a longtime best friend of mine, longtime teammate, and he's perfected the mall grab like nobody else. I want to bring up Mr. Michael McGill.
I have like a speech per se, I just wrote some names down. But thanks, Steve. For years, I guess he's lived in San Jose for 50 years. Finally convinced him to move down by me 2 years ago, and he said, you know, there's just one thing, Mike, I'm really mad at you because you didn't tell me 10 years ago to move down there. And now we, our kids play together, we do all these activities, we probably see each other 4 or 5 times a week doing something. So it's pretty incredible. I tell that story to Stacy and he's like, what? You guys, really? I wish Stacy could be here tonight. He sent me a note. I'd like to thank Steve Van Dorn for getting this place and taking it out of the Motel 6 lobby and doing everything he does for all the skaters. Also, I'd like to thank Laura Thornhill for putting up with us and all the HOF people for making this happen. Also, you know, I grew up in Florida skating, you know, whatever we could find, rainbow wave, skate wave.
Sensation Basin.
The Abrasion Basin, where Rodney Mullen's from. You know, one of Florida's first pros, George McClellan, is here tonight at my table. He's a few years older than me. I was like 12 or 13. He would drive like an hour to pick me up to go skate with him. Guys like Paul Schmidt helped me to travel around Florida and gave me the encouragement to, you know, keep on doing what I like to do. Let's see. And of course, you know, Alan Gelfin, who invented the ollie, of course. I'm from a small town in Florida, just outside of Tampa, and you know, there's not a lot of people there. I mean, you know, but he recognized me as, you know, somebody he wanted to share his life with, and he invited me to California for the first time to meet Stacy Peralta, and eventually I took some pictures with James Casimus, thank you, and got my first picture in a magazine. I remember going to the drugstore when I got home to Florida, and Stacy said, yeah, it's in there. And I opened up the magazine, I kept looking, I looked at it 3 times, I'm like, I don't care how small it is, it's my first picture, I don't care. And then I opened up the centerfold, and there it was. It was ridiculous. I'd also like to thank all the other photographers, like Grant Britton, of course, Mofo, Jim Goodrich, of course, took all those photos of the crazy Pepsi thing there in Venezuela. I think I was 13. I went out of the country for the first time. I don't know what my parents were thinking, letting me go over there. There's like people with machine guns, and I think I met Ellen O'Neill, Tony Alva, and all kinds of crazy people there. I just want to also share, you know, I used to have these posters on my wall when I was about 12 years old in Florida, and there was a picture of Stacy Peralta, Jay Adams, a bunch of those guys. And within 3 years, I was telling Steve this the other day, I tried to remember, I met Stacy Peralta, Jay Adams, Shogo Kobo, Tony Alva, Polar Bear, Dave Hackett, guys like Brad Bowman, the infamous Steve Olson. It was just very surreal for me to meet all those guys. And it's such an honor to be up here with the company of those guys. And also want to thank my wife for putting up with me. And I don't think she really understood skateboarding until Stacy made that Bones Brigade documentary. And she said, you know what, honey? You can go skate anytime you want, you know? I was like, all right. And also, you know, I saw Eric Dressen a few months ago at the El Gato Classic, which all you guys should go to that. And he was skating in the pool, just ripping, you know, and I said, you know, I'm going to say something to him. I was like, hey, Eric, you know, I used to want to be you, man. I wanted to be your neighbor. And he's like, why? What are you talking about? And I said, you skated with Tony Alva, he lived down the block or something. Like, I wanted to be you, man. You skated with all those Dogtown boys. Anyway, thank you guys for everything, and keep skating.
Jim Red Dog Mirror to come up to bring up our next inductee. You might remember when Jim was being inducted.
Green Dog!
Some of us had put some money on the line that he might, but he didn't. It's okay. I still collect it. Let's give it up for Jim Mirror, Dogtown Skateboard. And Steve Alva, my bad.
Go uptown and band that on the stage, right here. Love this guy. And tonight, you know, I've always been the person who like to have a lot of fucking fun. And, you know, I'm right now, I'm actually up here. And I'm about to be dead serious. And I have to start this out because someone else was supposed to be on the stage, and she's one of the strongest people in the background of the Skateboarding Hall of Fame, but she's terrified of talking in front of people. Where are you at, Laura? Laura Thornhill, stand up. Okay. Laura Thornhill discovered Eric Dressen. If you can discover someone, but Eric Dressen was 9 years old, and here's her quote because she couldn't get up here. This is Laura Thornhill speaking. When I first met Eric as a 9-year-old Grom, he was the cutest yet most fearless pint-sized powerhouse ripper I have ever seen. It took all of about a day to land him a coveted spot as the newest ripper on the Logan Erskine team. I always called him Little Big Man because that's exactly what he was. Thank you, Laura. And, you know, in our sport, Eric Dressen was the first Super Grom kid.
Mini Ripper.
And first time I saw him was in 1977. Skateboarding was advancing quickly. We were starting to skate parks. I used to see him at contest skate park openings. And the first time I really saw him skate was at the Skatopia skate park opening. But that place was just like a giant carnival. Everyone was excited, and riding that half pipe was a lot of fun. But I think right thereafter, there was a contest, or not a contest, a skate park in Torrance called Skateboard World. And at that opening, it was a shitty park. And there was only really one viable place to ride this bowl. And everyone who was anyone, all the pros, I mean, it was such a big event when the skate park opened. They were all there, and I see this freaking little 3'6" kid in the mix. 3'6". I'm not kidding you guys. Fucking pint size. And this kid was holding his own. He was out there skating hard, getting his runs with every pro that was at that event. And there, Gregg, if I remember, who was bigger than me, and you see Eric next to him, and it was insane. And the kid was ripping, you know. And along came 1980, skateboard popularity dropped, and like a bad habit, and almost every professional had to find some jobs, and things kind of slowed down. Thrasher came back, helped us get going again, and Thrasher. Hey, you know what? Getting into the Skateboarding Hall of Fame, like one of the most awesome things of getting into the Skateboarding Hall of Fame is the group of people you come in with. Your class of inductees makes such an awesome, like, extra bonus to what you're going into, right? That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, this fucking class of skateboarders is awesome, and I'm stoked to call them friends. Anyway, I was running Dogtown. We had a small team of local amateurs. We were hitting all the contests. Skateboarding was starting to boom again. Kelly Jackson, Aaron Murray, Scott Oster were telling me they'd been skating with Eric, and we should consider sponsoring him. You know, and of course I knew him. I'm like, fucking Eric Dressen, the guy was like the super Grom, and he had grown up to about right here. And the bottom line was, I saw him skate. There was nothing to consider. Immediately added him to the team, and we continued hitting up the amateur skate scene as street skating started to gain popularity. And I was privileged to watch Eric, along with Nadas, the Gons, Jesse Martinez, Tommy G, Mike V, among others, establish a new genre of skateboarding in the streets from where it began. Salad grind. His contest results during the mid-'80s were unsurpassed, and he was the back-to-back world street champion in 1987 and 88. Back when contests mattered.
And Eric's just not a street skater, he's one of the first all-around terrain skaters, killing it in all terrain, parks, pools, ramps, street, any terrain to this day. That is, it's unreal, huh? Yeah. Okay, I have been privileged to be part of Eric's life and have watched him become one of the great ambassadors of skateboarding to this day. He's an amazing person. I'm proud to call him a friend. I want to congratulate him into his induction in 2017, Skateboarding Hall of Fame. And I don't want to take up too much time because my boy here has got something.
Anyhow, one quick thing. I just want to say Happy Mother's Day to all your mothers out there. I want to say thank you to Todd, Steve Van Doren, everybody who helped put this on. You guys all rule. Eric Dressen, we love you. We love you forever. Since you're that big. Anyhow, I've traveled the world with Eric Dressen, with skating for Santa Cruz. We've been in all kinds of places through the years together. We talk all the time. And I just want to say, Eric Dressen, very deserving. I'm very happy for you. For that matter, I'm happy for all the inductees tonight. But let's hear it for Eric fucking Dressen. Eric told me he wouldn't cry tonight. Eric Dressen, Hall of Fame, 2017.
Well, I'm just so honored to be inducted along with one of the most influential skateboarders ever of all time. These guys shaped me, inspired me to be the guy I am today. When I was 8 years old, this thing's heavy. I can't see shit. When I was 8 years old, I saw in 1975. I saw the movie Endless Summer, and I wanted to learn how to skate. I wanted to learn how to surf. I'm so nervous, I'm sorry. Yeah, so 75, I saw Endless Summer, wanted to learn how to surf, and everyone told me I should try skateboarding first before I learned how to surf. But my dad bought me a Super Surfer clay wheels, and I got me some puka shells and some OP shorts. But with surfing, I only could go on the weekends or here and there, and it depends. Sometimes you go, it's flat, it's freezing cold. But with skateboarding, I could just leave my house, and I could just pretend I was surfing, and that's what I wanted. I wanted something I could do all the time. I didn't want no downtime. And from the moment I saw the first Skateboarder magazine cover with Gregg Weaver, I'll never forget that day I walked into Jacob's Surf Shop in Hermosa Beach, and I always knew skateboarding was the best. And when I saw that, I knew I was right. And from that day on, that set the course for the rest of my life. When I was 9, my life's ambition was to ride for Logan Ersky and get a Who's Hot. And when I was a little kid, I thought I was older. I hung out with all my friends who were in their late teens, and I was just a little guy, but I thought I was a grown-up. And I'll never forget this day, I went to go skate this little pool in Torrance, and Laura Thornhill showed up, and she asked me if I wanted to ride for Logan, and I was, hell yeah, if I want to ride for Logan, And, my dream was to ride for Logan and get a Who's Hot. And within 2 days later, I was at Skatopia shooting with Warren Bolster. It was such a dream come true. And as a little guy, I just idolized Dogtown and Z-Boys. That's all I wanted to do, skate just like them. And, Tony Alvo was my all-time hero. And I was so lucky. I moved to the West Side when I was about 11 and got to be on the Alva team. Tony Alva got me on team and I was so lucky to get to see those guys at Marina every weekend. Get to see Shogo, Kubo, and all the Alva boys. And then I was telling Shota, I skate fast because of seeing Shogo at Mission Viejo this one time when the Hester series got rained out, and just remembered them. I was like, that's how you're supposed to do it. I can't see shit. But When I was a little kid, all I did was look at Skateboarder magazine. That's all I did. I studied every photo, and I always wondered what these guys sounded like. You couldn't hear a voice, but I just studied every single picture and just emulated it. I lived in my own little world. Like, I'd skate someplace, I'd pretend I was this guy or that guy and shit. And like, to this day, I still do that. Why am I so nervous? But one of the best things that ever happened to me in the mid-'80s is meeting up with Jim Muir and all the Venice boys. And, you know, at the start of creating the modern street skating, I owe it all to Jim for my professional career. He believed in me and really backed me. We were on a mission, all the Dogtown boys. We wanted to carry on the tradition of Dogtown, show up and rip it up, and it's just crazy because I've been skateboarding for 42 years, and I've got the, you know, and to this day, skateboarding is the most important thing in my life, more than ever. I love skateboarding so much. To me, my skateboard is my prized possession. It's a sacred object. It's an extension of myself. Alright? I fucking love myself. I love grip tape, stickers. I love artwork on the boards. I love that shit. You know? And thank you. I'm being weird. But my life's been surreal from this. My whole skateboard career has been just surreal. Like from the beginning, just to get to know these guys that were in the magazine, and now to call them friends. Like I talk to Jim, and Saba every day, and Olson. I fucking love Olson more than anybody. And it's just crazy. I'm 49 years old, and this year's been the busiest year of my life. Thanks to Santa Cruz Skateboards, I've gotten to travel the world, make bitchin' skateboards, and I'm lost. But I'm so eternally grateful to Santa Cruz Skateboards for giving me the opportunity to do what I love, and I already said that. What else? Yeah, I pretty much said it all. But I've been so lucky in the last few years to travel the world. I've been all over the world and gotten to skate with so many rad people, and like the modern kids, even to the older kids. One day I'll be skating with Anthony Van Engelen and Guy Mariano, and next day I'm at the El Gato Classic skating with Mike McGill and Cab and Gons and Brad Bowman, who's very much my favorite skateboarder in the whole world. I want to see him up here. And I'm just so grateful to skateboarding. And I like to thank, man, so many people I'm just so grateful. Put my list away. Shit. Where's my gratitude list? I lost that one. I just like to thank all my extended family, my sponsors, my family, and I'd like to thank Santa Cruz Skateboards, of course, Independent Trucks. I've been running independent since I was 13 years old, and in the last couple of years, they let me do art collaborations that were super successful and that follow my dream as an artist. I'd like to thank Spitfire Wheels for making bitchin' wheels, and I'd like to thank Steve Van Doren and Vans for hooking me up. I'm going to Japan on Wednesday with Steve Caballero and Tony Alva, which is mind-blowing. And I'd like to thank Jason Jesse and Hard Luck Bearings. And I'd like to make a shout out to the boys this summer. And that's about it. Thanks. I'm sorry.
All right, let's give it up for Eric Dressen. Wow.
begin with the last. Eric Dressen, that Who's Hot? I was in Florida. I looked at a magazine and I saw that Who's Hot, and I was just thinking, man, that kid's about my age. What if I could be that kid? And that drove me. Likewise, Russ Howell here. I copied the way he held his hand so I could spin. He taught me that. I picked up what I could and did what I've done. And I've seen guys out here today, generationally, not only McGill being there for the first McTwist, I was there on the edge of the ramp. I see kids, I saw them when they were I knew them when they were teenagers, and now I marvel at where they've taken skating. All of us in here share something I think has to be lived to be understood, which is what it takes to dig a little deeper so you can push a little further. And together we have created something of significance. All of us. All of us. There's another thing kind of has to be lived to be understood. Is owning a company isn't all what it's cracked up to be. Best part, the most significant, meaningful part for me was it gave me the resources and a mandate to look for that new generation of skaters. Guys who I thought would push a little further. From that experience over 30 years, I can safely say that there is no other skater I am more proud to be associated with, much less the bond we have, than Daewon Song. From the beginning, it took no time to figure out he had something that was different. Sort of super ninja skills. That's all I needed to know back then. And what drive, creativity started to unfold and continues to unfold. With it, he has made an indelible mark. With his skateboarding, but through the spirit with which he does it. There's no one like him.
Oh my God.
Those early days at the World Park, very beginning, think of that generation, arguably one of the more impactful in the history of modern street skating. Every day, there'd be Guy, Kareem, of course Daewon, Gabriel, Rudy, it just kept coming. Every day something else was happening, something new. So Daewon would be there, participate right there. Eventually they'd go home into the night. It'd be me and Socrates with the key. Daewon, he'd hang out. And then he'd start unleashing stuff that none of us had ever seen. Me and Sock would be scratching our heads thinking, first of all, why doesn't he do this when other people are around? And second, where does he get all of this? So word pretty quickly started to spread, and he loosened up, let it out, and then the footage kept coming. You've seen the videos. Second to none. Daewon, there's hardly anyone I've ever known. Oh, Eshelman. Those days. Hardly anyone I've ever known with the creativity, the drive, the humility. No matter what you got, you stayed low with it and pushed yourself. The devotion that you've given to skateboarding and the loyalty to me as a friend, which has been tested and found truer than I've ever known. It's my honor to be here, to give you this award, to pass it along, and a privilege to be a friend.
So bad in front of the mic too as well. Watched 8 Mile twice, so I'm choke. But let's see. Yeah, right. First off, I want to. First off, it's insane. Like growing up in that era in skating, like I got caught up with a bunch of stuff. I got jumped into a gang. I never got jumped out. I don't know how it goes now. Like, and, what do you call it? And I was caught up with so much stuff. I was doing little things here and there. And my parents bought me one skateboard, and that was it. It got stolen at a donut shop, which is weird. And it's like, maybe that's my fascination for always wanting to eat donuts. So I think I'm gonna find this long lost skateboard, my only one that they bought me. And but after that, I started doing like, I was addicted to skateboarding, just like that. I was addicted, and I started doing things that, I mean, don't judge me, but I would pick people's flowers from their own front yards and sell them back to them for $5 just to get a little bit of money here and there. You know what I mean? And then I would even, I did some weird stuff. I would watch people open their lockers and watch them like the combinations so I could take their lunch tickets so I could save another $1. It was just like a weird time. Thank God I'm over that. You can trust me next to your locker. And just crazy. So I was finally just skating, and I remember Rodney would always skate this school called Adams, and he would always be in the tennis court skating. So me and my buddy would skate out front, and then I remember doing something, and Rodney was watching from far away, and then I went somewhere. I got all nervous, like, oh my God, Rodney. And I came back, and he was like, hey, Rodney asked about you. And I was like, really? He did? What'd he say? He's like, thought you were pretty good. And I was like, wow, I was so pumped. But that was it. And I was like, but he took off, And then about 2 weeks later, I seen him at 135th Street School in Gardena, where I grew up. And it was crazy seeing him there because, it was a rough little area, and I was like, damn, these guys better not try to jack Rodney, you know what I mean? Because they knew who he was, they would not even go, but it's just, I was trying to look out, and it's just crazy. He asked me if I wanted to get boards and stuff, and I was just like, wow, first off, I was just like, Rodney Mullen. Then I was like, free boards, yes, I can. I would love some free boards. And it was funny, because when he said that, I was going in my head, and at that time I was the biggest wannabe Z-boy ever. Second generation, like, slick back hair, pomade, my Dickies, and I was confused. I wanted to be a tech skater, but I wanted to slash some stuff out too, so I would go to a bench and do a kickflip 5-0, but then I'd be like, and put it right into place. And I was just like, and I know people were just like, but Rodney ended up taking me under his wing, and I know that during that time, I remember, there was like people hating on me, like, this dude, I don't know, he's confused, don't understand it. Skating, it's a little, I don't know, but Rodney hung in there. He believed in me, and he he backed me up. He supported me. I would not be here if it wasn't for Rodney Mullen. I owe Rodney so much. And for him to come up here, he's busy, and his schedule to come up here and do that for me, it's beyond words can explain. So, and while I'm up here, I might as well do some confessions too. Rodney was talking about the World Skate Park. That place was insane. That place was filled with the best parks, but there was a lot of crazy stuff going on there. And Rodney trusted me with the key, which was amazing. He would always say, take the board you want, because me and him were good like that. So I'm gonna just say, hey, because it's been bottled up in me. One time I opened the closet without asking him, and I took 4 boards extras. Sorry, Rod. Sorry. But otherwise for that, Gardena. So, Street Rascals, that's the gang I got jumped into. So it's crazy. Skateboarding, for me, it's just the excitement I get. I wake up, I dream about it. I dream that I can do these tricks, and I wake up like I know exactly what to do, and I go out there, and I still can't do it. I'm like, ugh. Dreams are dreams, you know what I mean? And you can keep dreaming, but the thing is that frustration and stuff, it keeps me going. The fact that I will never learn every trick, I'll never be able to do everything, and I can watch people, and I can be at a place like this and see all these amazing people and that have inspired me, it's inspired everyone. It's like words can't even explain like how that makes you feel. It's just, I know I'm dragging this. Woo! I told myself I'm gonna make it short, but I'm just honored up here. Thank you, skateboarding. Thank you, everybody that's here. Thank you for all the supporters. I mean, I wrote some stuff. I didn't even write stuff down. I put it on my phone and then I put it on my lock screen because the page, you know, when it goes away, you have to do the code. And I was like, put it on my lock screen. But hey, I'm not gonna use this. I'm just gonna say, what else am I gonna say? I'm just gonna say thank you so much. And I had so much, like, Eric, too. Me and Eric were both nervous. We were talking about how nervous we were out there. I just want to say thank you so much. It's such an honor to be up here, be around all these amazing people. You guys all, you inspire me every day. I mean, I just get inspired, and thank you so much. And there's one thing about skateboarding is that feeling I get to explain it is, you know, when I was 7 years old, I mean, my parents, they were strict. They didn't really buy me like toys. If I was like, get me a Voltron, it was always like a Mickey Mouse roller coaster. You just drop it from the top and it goes like that. I was like, fuck, well, if I aim high, they shoot not so low, you know what I mean? And so I was just like, okay, that's perfect. I got a pillow once. I got socks and underwears were the worst when you were a kid. Now it's like my favorite thing. If you guys ever want to get me a gift, get me socks and underwear. And but like that feeling you get, like just the night before Christmas, like, oh, you can't sleep, and it's like 11:50, and you're like, come on, just open one, and it's just like, they're like, no, because they're Asian parents, and they're like, no, put your ass to sleep, especially my parents. There's no way I was opening anything. Sneaking a peek, shaking it, it's like stupid, it was a pillow, I knew it anyways, but, so, I don't know, but like I said, that feeling you get, that excitement, it never left in skateboarding for me. I wake up so excited every day. I think of something I might be able to do, but then like I said, it's never, like I said, I want to learn. There's like 50% of skateboarding I still need to learn. And it's amazing that this new generation that I'm watching, the older generation, they all do stuff that I want to do. You know what I mean? And it's so inspiring to me, and it keeps me going. And that's why skateboarding, I'll never stop doing it, because I'll never be able to learn everything, and it makes me smile, and it makes me happy, and it makes me keep wanting to push and get up in the morning and just do something myself. And the pain, I like falling. So, thank you so much, and thank you Skateboarding Hall of Fame. Thank you everybody that came out to support. I'm sorry for being so nervous. I was gonna wear a jersey and a gold chain here, but then I was like, nah.